88.1 FM KPFZ would like to thank our underwriters, Double D's Coffee Shop, located on historic Main Street in Upper Lake, California. Double D's is locally owned by Dee Dee and operated by her and her friends. Double D's serves up espresso, coffee, and tea, as well as specialty coffee and espresso drinks. Dee Dee serves smoothies made with real fruit and real fruit juice, as well as pastries and even a few candies. For more information on Double D's Coffee, they can be reached at 707-275-9470. Again, KPFZ would like to thank Double D's Coffee, located on historic Main Street in Upper Lake, California.
Sitting around boxes with screens, and they forgot how to grow their own food. And hunting was replaced by practices which were cruel, and everything seemed to be divided by plastic made with petrochemical oil, which was extremely toxic. And these people also ran their cars on that oil, which polluted the air and the water and the soil. But the ones who benefited didn't care about the earth. They were only interested in how much the oil was worth. When they started running out, they started fighting for control to secure the world's supply of petroleum was their goal. So they assembled their armies, and the wars destroyed life. They hid the truth from the people, kept it out of their sights. And millions of people were betrayed by these lies, convinced to kill each other and watch each other die. Entire cultures were destroyed before our very eyes. We just sat around and watched the fire falling from the sky. But all the time we knew that it could happen to us. So we were living in fear, and we were on the same bus. By invading other people, we created more enemies, but they believed that they were doing it to make themselves free. This is the world that I grew up in, so you understand my brain when it begins to spin. Searching for solutions, a better way to be, and I think much clearer when I begin to breathe. So I breathe. In the air, yeah, take a deep breath. It's everywhere. Heal my spirit, heal my body, heal my soul. I know who I am, consciousness spinning through sacred air. shamans, the healers, whatever your call is. Actualize and realize we come here to balance these violent times. Warriors of peace, ambassadors of love, always staying center when push comes to shove. Third eye wide open and dancing to music, accepting the power, knowing how to use it. Coming together, we circle the globe, seeing the oneness, our chakras are glowing. Our vibrations where we want it to be, keep it high, you know how it feels to be free. And all you gotta do to understand these ways is breathe real deep and enjoy each day. Work selflessly with others and we'll all survive together. Tomorrow is now and there's beautiful weather, so breathe. Breathe in the air. Yeah, take a deep breath. It's everywhere. Heal my spirit, heal my body, heal my soul. Oh, I know who I am. Consciousness spinning through sacred air.
Oh, yes. Okay, so where did that other noise come from?
Yeah, good morning to you, too. Jeez.
Good morning. It's Lake County Magazine with Terry Larson.
And Pete the Tax Guy. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. It's raining. Yay! 2 days of rain is enough, though. I think we could have another break. I saw some blue skies peeking through on the way in.
Yep.
And temperatures are running in the low 50s, so not bad out there. Got to appreciate what we got.
Nice. Warmer than I thought.
I'm so grateful for the rain. I just can't even try and complain.
Yeah, even our goats are happy, I think.
Yes, they refuse to go home.
No, I forgot to put them home last night. They're wandering the yard, our attack goats.
They're peeking into the slider this morning going, what? Why are we still here?
Well, some people have watchdogs. We have watch goats.
Yeah, they will, but Lucy will butt them.
Yeah, she will. Yeah. Anyway.
All right,
so this is Lake County Magazine, right? Wednesday morning?
Yep.
Okay.
9 to 11.
Yeah,
yep.
just making sure.
And we are live and direct from the wonderful upstairs KPFC studios from beautiful downtown Lakeport.
I'm glad you didn't say Burbank.
Well, why would I? We're in Lakeport. The only thing is we can't quite see the lake from here, unfortunately. But we do have a nice treetop view. If you could see through that fog, you're a miracle worker.
I'm looking at the lake right now, right through the branches of the trees.
I think that's the lake.
Yeah, of course it's the lake. What is it? I think it's a pond.
No, I don't. Okay, I'm going to look when it's not foggy out.
Fine, let's move on.
Okay, so we had a nice weekend, kind of quiet, and all the last week. had some excitement with the Planning Commission. The first part of the video is available on Lake County Magazine if you want to check it out. Very interesting meeting about the medical marijuana ordinance, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, part 2 will be up tomorrow, folks.
Oh, great.
It's a literally went from 9:15 to about 4 o'clock, so it's a lot of video to watch. You can obviously go through and pick your pieces, but you really need to watch this video. And after we say some very nice positive things, I'm going on a real rant, so I'm warning you now.
Stand by for Peter's rant. Yes. So, beautiful day out for a wedding today. I want to give my congratulations out to Tom and Genevieve. I really, 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 we're both so honored and happy that you guys are finally tying the knot. I think Wednesday is an interesting day to choose for a wedding, and with the rain on top of it, I'm sure it's adding a little complications to the whole plans, but we hope that everything works out, and we will be there to record the whole thing for you for posterity. So we're looking forward to that. These are two very loving and kind people, so we're really happy that they're finally making it legal. It's about time.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And they both deserve each other.
Yes.
I mean that in a good way,
they're
folks.
Just wonderful people.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah. So that's that little announcement. And then also, the City of Clear Lake, well, actually, Jerry Spittler, and with the help of Joyce Overton, they are putting together a Thanksgiving dinner at the Youth Center. It's a free Thanksgiving. We are very just so happy to see that the community is pulling together. Everybody's donating everything. Businesses are donating food. People are donating food. People are cooking food. We're going to be cooking a couple of dishes. We'll be serving as well. And it just is going to be for anybody who just wants to come down and have a nice Thanksgiving dinner. You don't have to be homeless.
No, that's true.
And I don't even think you have to live in Clear Lake.
No, you don't.
So if anybody wants to go down and check out the new youth center and enjoy a dinner with a bunch of really, really, really nice people, I'll tell you, the people down there in Clear Lake, you just can't beat them. They have it really tough, and there's a lot of issues there, but they're fighting them back one by one. And it'll eventually, it's going to be a wonderful city, and they're building the foundations now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my opinion.
That's a matter of.
I think that they're. Let's face it, there's still issues there.
Thank you. That's my point.
Some of those issues we'll be talking about later as well.
Yeah.
But there are good people there, and those good people are the type of people to take action. They're not just sitting on their behinds.
Agreed.
Yes.
But there's so much to do, and it's going to take many.
Oh, it's a huge job.
Years, and I don't know if it's ever going to be what they envisioned it to be. I mean, this just unless some multi-billionaire gives them money to do what they need to do.
I think this design review board or whatever it is they're trying to put together is a good step forward. They definitely need to do something about how new businesses come in and how they make their buildings look, and
Don't get me going on this, because
I know you hate regulation, but
no. It's the point is that none of them that I have seen. I'm not saying they don't have it. But so far, in the 18 months I've been here, I've not seen any real, true business and economic development ideas that make sense.
Well, they hired that a university to come in and do a pretty detailed study, and they did a good job on that. And working with the Clear Lake Vision Task Force as well, they put together a good plan. And my big problem with the city is that they have a big problem with spending too much money on salaries and benefits.
Well, the thing is, especially,
and I don't want to get into that in our good news section.
No, it's okay. Never mind.
We'll get into it later when we talk more about the issues.
But let's talk more about Thanksgiving. That is, that was something.
So here's what you do: if you want to come and eat, you could do that, no charge. If you want to make a dish, you can do that. And if you want to just donate food that other people can use to make a dish, you can do that. There's a whole list of needed items on Facebook, and I think it's called Thanksgiving Dinner. I don't even think there's a...
I don't think it's just everyone just posting up there.
Yeah, everybody's posting. It's actually coordinated. They're actually posting all the needs that they have, and all the different things that people are making. So they're getting a good list of what's available. And let me see. I'm going to take a minute and...
It's called Thanksgiving Dinner.
Okay, good. So you got it up there?
Yeah.
All right. So it's a Facebook event, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I don't know how that works, but
Just type in
if anybody's
Thanksgiving dinner.
interested and they can't find it on Facebook, they can go to our Facebook page, Lake County Magazine, and just let us know that you want to get involved, and we'll link you up with them. That's the easy way. So, yeah. So what else did you have to say about that? I'm sorry. I
About
did cut you
Thanksgiving?
off.
You didn't cut me off. I'm married to you.
So,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm not I'm just not a big visible type person. But
you don't like crowds or people?
no, I don't. Well, when you deal with
face
when you deal with them every day in your business, you sometimes like your own little quiet and privacy and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
But we get that time.
I know. But, this, my wife and I do not have any children with us for Thanksgiving this year.
And
we
no
don't have any
family.
other family here. My mom and my sisters are all over the country, i.e. Arizona and Connecticut. And so we kind of sat and looked at each other and said, what do you want to do for Thanksgiving? Want to invite so-and-so over? Yeah, okay, so whatever. And then I look at it, and I got all the meal prep, and I got all the cleaning up,
The
and
work.
blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not really in the mood to do that. So my wife came up with, well, why don't we volunteer somewhere? And we didn't know what to do that didn't already have people. So we're going down to Clear Lake Youth Center to volunteer, cook, and whatever. So
Yeah, I'm really, really grateful that you agreed to do that,
Yeah.
because I know you're kind of a traditional person. You've always had dinner with the family and everything, but like you said, I mean, it would have been nice to have our friends come over and hang out and have dinner with
Yeah,
them,
but-
but I feel like this is so much bigger than that.
let me finish my thought.
Yes, Jim.
Thank you.
Sorry.
We've been through so much over the last few years, and for the term or the saying, for the grace of God, there goes I, we could very well be the ones asking for dinner at the youth center to be fed on Thanksgiving Day. And we were just fortunate enough to do a couple things right, and we're not in that position. But it made me realize, especially after what I did for 2 years, and acknowledging the fact there are a lot worse people out there than myself, that I thought it was something, since we had no family commitments, that we didn't have obligations to be with family, that why not go down and help other people out? I mean, that's
Well, exactly.
that's where I'm coming from. So, folks, if you want to see Pete the Tax Guy slave away in a hot kitchen and serve
Slinging
other people,
potatoes.
come on down. Actually, I'm a very good cook, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, and there will be vegan and vegetarian options too.
Vegan or vegan?
Vegan.
I'm just asking.
I like vegan.
Okay, I like
myself. I don't think it's particularly necessary either way, but.
That's fine. So,
And also low sugar options for those diabetics.
and those who are meat and potatoes type people, we're going to have Thanksgiving and dressing and
Oh, yeah,
cranberry and
everything, all
all
the
the fixins. So, folks, don't make us be lonely down there.
Well, I don't think that's going to be a problem, and I don't want to get too many people.
That's
If
true.
1,000 people show up, I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, my point here is, folks, if you are doing reasonably well in your lives and you can spare some extra food, we really would appreciate it to support Terry and myself and come on down and bring some extra food and whatever else you can afford to bring to help feed some people who may need it a lot more than we do.
Absolutely.
That's coming from my heart, which is not usually which is very unusual.
Doesn't usually do this kind of stuff. So, and what I love about it, it was so spontaneous, because we had met with Joyce on Friday, Mayor Klulik, and also the director of the youth center for the moment, and they had received $6,000 in donations, $1,000 from Sphinx Incorporated Urbanware. He had made a challenge out on Facebook, basically saying that if he got 1,000 likes, he would donate $1,000 to the youth center, and he did. So thanks to Quincy Jackson for that. And then also Jeff Smith brought a check for $5,000 from the County of Lake. That was also a donation to the youth center. So that, I mean, they got robbed. They lost some equipment. They lost some other stuff. And, there's things that they need now to replace. And thank God that money came in when it did, because that hopefully will help them get those things back.
Right.
But,
We'll see.
she was like, oh, I can't even think about making a Thanksgiving dinner, blah, blah, blah. And then Jerry had sent out a post on Facebook that had said basically, who's doing a dinner. Usually the churches, like the Methodist Church, will do a big dinner for people, and this year nobody was. And so that just got the fire started. As soon as she mentioned that, she found that out, she went to Joyce and said, Joyce, we got to do this. And Joyce finally gave in, and here we are. So I'm really excited and very proud and pleased to see how the community has stepped up.
Yep.
And thanks to Tina Conister, too. She's kind of taken this on as one of the co-hosts. So there's been just this wonderful response from the entire community, and even outside of Clear Lake as well. People are just pitching in from all over.
Well, as usual, which totally contradicts my normal attitude, is that this area, be it Clear Lake or Lake County as a whole, just absolutely surprises me.
It always gives me faith.
When there's a social need, not government or anything else, but when there's a social need, we do all come together.
Yep.
And it's, even though it might be the same people at the time, it doesn't matter. Everyone comes together and helps others, and that's very rare in today's society.
We're so grateful, and that's what makes me want to be here, and that's what makes me love Lake County in general. It's not just Clear Lake, because the whole county's like that.
Even though
there's battles to be fought every day, and there's a war going on,
and it is a war.
It is, unfortunately, and it's a war that's being waged with money and with power. And with greed,
right.
And it's unfortunate that it has to be so deeply ingrained in this county, and I do hope that those people that are a part of that whole system wake up one day and realize that this is not the way they want to live, and that we need to have more of an attitude like what's happening at Thanksgiving, of people who love each other and care about each other actually doing things to help each other. That's how we have to think about, not just how much money we can get out of people by taxing them, or how much money we can get from tourists coming in here and blah, 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 blah. We need to have our own security within our own self and support each other. That's the only way we're going to survive.
Do you think our listeners can handle all this positive vibes from us? I don't know if I can handle it.
I hope we're not disappointing them.
They're like, wait, man, this is boring. This is all nothing. Positive vibes, man. Yeah, we're cool. Yeah.
Hey, it's only our first half hour.
Okay. By the way, do you know that Facebook now is listing if you're on a mobile or web?
Yes, they have been doing that for a long time, yeah.
Oh, well,
and they'll also list your location if your GPS is on.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, it does. If you look where it says.
That's invasion of privacy.
I know one of our people, every time he posts something, it's from a different location. I'm like, wow, you really get around.
Well,
you know?
Some people travel.
I know he travels for a living, but it's like every single post is like from a different state, basically.
Different state?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, gotcha.
So
yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a lot of spying going on. So my solution for that is I think I'm going to leave Google completely eventually. Pato Banton made a post the other day. All of his videos were taken down by YouTube because they didn't believe that he was a real person. Yes.
Really?
Yes. He's lost.
Was he a fake person?
He's lost decades worth of musical videos, and they just wiped everything out.
Really?
Yeah. And of course, they have easy access from all the different alphabets, NSA, the FBI, all those people have direct access through Google. And the other thing that is happening is that Yahoo is actually going to have full encryption in place by 2014. So that will be probably the only secure email besides some other places like SafeMail and a couple other places that are known for encrypting emails. But that could be the only safe place.
I think those encrypted email sites are still reasonably good to use?
I don't know because we don't use them, but I think that it's something that would be worthwhile looking into because who wants everybody knowing exactly what you're doing?
I think they're good for the average person, but I think if the alphabets want it, they can still get it.
Well, a subpoena will get you anything.
Oh, I know, but
they don't have a right to hold information if they're subpoenaed, and a subpoena can be gotten very easily. So,
anyway, but at least
there
from
is
a
no privacy,
but from a day-to-day point of view,
day-to-day point of view, yeah,
especially in business dealings, stuff like that, where you want some privacy.
And there's so much hacking going on. You make your back door easy enough for people to get in, you're never going to have any peace and quiet.
Yeah, matter of fact, NBC San Francisco News last night did a little expose interviewing the IT people for California State, and they said they're being hacked, tried to be hacked, and are being hacked every single day.
Well, we get hacked every day too.
I know, but here's what bothers me though, is that the person in charge of that actually admitted that They get hacked into the system, and they said, "Well, it's not that big because only 5 or 6 people at a time lose their privileged information. It's not hundreds or thousands, though that does happen occasionally. So that makes it okay, folks. Do your job. That's why we pay you the big bucks as a government employee. Anyway, so that's another subject in itself. So,
yeah. So so Sunday.
Sunday.
Last Sunday?
Yes. You did your
my very
speak.
first presentation on climate reality for the Green Party. I was very, very honored that they allowed me to come down there and make a fool out of myself.
Even if we had video difficulties that were not ours. That were not ours.
You know, they have we thought that we could use the big screen TV in the room over at Round Table Pizza, and the problem with that is they're not set up for connecting a computer. You can have regular
VCR, DVD
component type connections, but they weren't prepared for a USB connection, and so it was basically behind the TV, which was secured to the wall, so there was no way to access the port. They could just get an extension and have it run out of there.
Yeah, they could.
Anyway, so I couldn't use the computer. So I could use the computer, but not the screen. So my poor people that were there had to watch everything off of a laptop screen, which was kind of annoying because Pete was my technical director, and so he was hitting the forward button on the PowerPoint presentation and trying to see what I was looking at, and I was, we were like computers with the backs to each other, so he couldn't see what I was doing. I was trying to direct him as to what he should be doing. It's just a comedy of errors. It took about an hour longer than it should, so it was really good for the Green Party. The patience level was fantastic.
They actually had some good questions.
They were really a great audience.
They were listening.
Yes. And, it's kind of like preaching to the choir, because climate change is something the Green Party's been aware of for many, many years. But there is so much great information in that PowerPoint, which is the same PowerPoint that Al Gore gives when he goes out into public speaking. It was originally called An Inconvenient Truth, and now it is An Inconvenient Truth and the Climate Reality combined. So it's a lot of brand new information, 2013 figures, and everything's updated. And so you get to get a really good picture of what's going on in our environment and how if we are destroying our planet on a daily basis, and what can we do to help eliminate that. There wasn't enough of those answers in there as far as I'm concerned.
Correct.
So I'm going to cut out a lot of the repetitive stuff, and I'm going to put in more solutions and hopefully have a much better presentation on the next one.
A bright and informed individual. You should be able to come up with your own ideas.
I already have them for my own presentations that I did in Arizona.
So why do we need to duplicate Mr. Boring Gore?
Hey, stop that.
Oh, sorry.
Because that's my mandate. I mean, I have to show that report.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do for the next, until I've done 10 now. Now, don't let your skepticism show. And your cynicism.
I missed a golden opportunity on Sunday, and if we didn't have so many technical difficulties, I could have had a blast playing devil's advocate with that in that room.
You're not allowed to do that.
Oh.
You did that when Maggie Fox called, and you made me get in trouble. So
you didn't get in trouble.
You're done. You're done.
I'm done.
Yes, you're done. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Oh,
How
good.
are you?
How are you?
All right. So the lake is beautiful, of course. And again, today the rain put a little bit of extra clarity in the very top. And amazingly, it rains so slowly that there's not a bunch of just mud and crap coming into the lake. It seems to be slowly seeping in. And another strange thing is that it's up a degree to 59 degrees this morning. I can't really explain that, and no, I'm not going to try. But the lake is stunning and beautiful for this time of year and any time of year.
Yeah.
That's the lake report for today.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Okay, so
That's too quick. He needs
I know
to be.
he
He needs to be
usually
more.
gives us a lot more information.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to also know if anybody knows exactly how much rain we've had in the last 2 days.
Well, look up
I've got to put my rain catcher out there.
your rain catcher.
Start getting those figures, yeah.
Okay. Sure. I don't think we've had that much, but that's okay.
Well, I think we've gotten at least a half an inch, which, considering we've had nothing, is quite a bit.
Every bit helps.
Exactly.
So
what else is new?
I don't know. You want to move on?
Do you want to do your rant?
Yeah,
I
I'll
know
do
you
my-
want to do your rant.
Yeah, I do want to do my rant. I'm sorry, folks, but I think you're going to like this one. I have been in beautiful Lake County now for almost 18 months. And I have gone and seen many city council meetings in Clear Lake. I've seen a few in Lakeport. And I've seen almost all of the Board of Supervisor meetings every Tuesday morning. And there is a large trend, which this is not breaking news by any means, that it appears that our elected officials try to appease us by listening to us citizens during public comments and during public commentary regarding a specific agenda item. Yet afterwards, when all is said and done, and the public has spoken, it appears that our elected officials just look at us like, well, you're just dumb peons. We really don't need to listen to you. So we're the almighty, bright, intelligent people because you elected us into this capacity.
It's all our fault.
And so we're going to make the decision the way we think it should be done, not what you all think should be done. And I'm sick and tired of this. Yes, I'm a newbie. Yes, I'm a carpetbagger. Yes, I just some dumb peon guy that walked into Lake County and trying to do something worthwhile. But, you know, folks, I'm throwing down the gauntlet to you. We need to be more outspoken. And I don't mean you folk that are listening to us on a regular basis. I don't mean you folk who listen to KPFZ on a regular basis. You are activists. You do speak your mind. The problem is not enough of us are doing that.
Yeah, we're the minority.
You need to tell your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, your business associates, the rest of your family that we can no longer have our county and our cities run by officials who do not listen to what we say when we're allowed to say it.
Yeah, or care. The Planning Commission meeting is a perfect example.
The City Council of Clear Lake, it's so obvious that no matter what the public commentary is, they do what they want to do.
Exactly.
The county planning commission that happened last Thursday, exact same thing. The Board of Supervisors, when they ask for public comment, they listen. Well, some listen. And then they make up their own mind to do what they want. I thought government is supposed to be run by the citizens. I thought the elected officials are supposed to respond to the citizens'
in theory,
wishes.
But not in reality.
And I'm sick of this in this area.
I have a quote that is on the blog.
Then I'll take a deep breath and go on.
Actually fits perfectly into what you're saying.
Go on.
They say, they pretend they represent and serve us. They pretend they represent and serve us. We voted them in to represent us. They know what's best. In reality, we can protest, but no one wants to cross them. They have destroyed lives. They have cronies in every department. They conspire to deflect any and all complaints back into the complainants. That's what they do in the closed meetings. They know they have instilled fear in the people. So what to do? I guess complain here, eh? And that's off of the Sheriff Mitchell Watch blog that is our local one of our local Lake County watch sites that kind of tries to watch out over the politicians and that, and the Lovelace group. And so this is just some anonymous person making the statement. So you're certainly not alone in how you feel. We have an issue here, a big problem with transparency, a big problem with voted-in officials listening to their constituents, and that can lead us very directly into the situation with the councilman from Clear Lake.
Right. Well, my point here is, and I'm not going to harp on this too much, is that why do we accept this, folks?
Right.
Why? What are we going to?
Because we're afraid.
What are we going to do about it? What I'm proposing, and this is a challenge to everyone out there, including myself and my wife and every other programmer of KPFZ that cares, is we need to not just show up at the meetings and voice our opinion, because obviously they don't care. We need to start sending them emails. We need to start calling them and leaving voice messages at their offices. We need to contact them and arrange personal meetings with them. Not that Brown would ever meet with us, but that's beside the point. And tell them how we feel about these issues. And tell them, if you can't agree and follow the public's wishes on these ordinances or these measures or these policies and procedures, then we're going to replace you. And trust me, none of these people want to lose their jobs. Council people got full health benefits. They can't afford to lose those. County supervisors, $60,000 plus a year in salary, plus another $12,000 in retirement and health benefits. They don't want to lose that. So hit them where it hurts, folks. Threaten them with their jobs. Tell them you're not going to vote for them anymore. And I guarantee the majority of the people in this county or the cities will are with us. It's the select few that are ruling this area, and they have the influence to get their voters out to win the election. We need to be out there. We need to register voters. We need to get more involved.
If anybody's not registered, we have voters registration forms at our office in Lower Lake. You're certainly welcome to come by and fill it out.
And I know you've heard all this stuff before, not just from me, from people years and years and years and years. But you know something? Are you tired of it? I am. I've only been here 18 months, and I'm sick of this.
No, you should be asking them, aren't you tired of it?
Aren't you tired of it?
Yes, exactly.
What are we going to do about it?
Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, it's me, El Kabimini Bob.
Yo.
And, I listen in the morning. I get the Casual Sea Surf Report. You listen to Mendocino Radio, they're talking about, well, with 2016 legalization probably, they were wondering about a Humboldt brand of high grade.
Exactly.
To bring business to the county. And I like to think about, well, what if somebody could have a museum or something like in the Netherlands for connoisseurs to appreciate the different diversity and blah, blah, blah.
Right. Well, I've been saying for years they should make this just like a fine wine destination. It should be a fine weed destination as well. Bring your medical card and come and enjoy the best in the world.
You know, in the Netherlands, they say we should call it grass or herb, but weed's kind of derogatory. And language is so crucial now, how they call herb narcotics and all that. It's like an ideological war. And, I realize when you look at, I'm a practicing discrimination attorney, and when you read the language in this Oliver Osterbaum about discrimination in the 14th Amendment, that persecuting and repressing a politically unpopular group is not a legitimate governmental interest. And we have a human right to marry, to travel, to worship, and travel. And if anytime you went to the courts and you end up in court, and it's established that you have a freedom from that. But yet we hear the attorney the other day for the Clear Lake fiasco that happened at their dispensary, and he's saying how, the officers are allowed to do whatever they want in this county, and regardless of where things have gone in the courts, it's never objectively formalized to where it's handed down the pike to where the lowest workers of the court are the officers. And they're supposed to be the last ones on the chain of what our human rights are. And yet here it's an ongoing practice to let them continually bring these same people through the system all the way to the appellate stage, and so they can glean all this money, all the court workers. And can you imagine if they did that for marriage, the right to marriage, the right to travel, the right to worship, and every time they come before the court and say, oh, we arrested them on this, but that's already been established as outrageous. So, but they're allowed to target this or that, our section of the community, and drive everybody away.
And profile.
I got 5 acres. I put $200,000 on this 5 acres. They're saying I got to have 20 acres to have 6 plants or get out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right. Meanwhile, they're taking everybody's property, and it's just wicked.
I think you can have six plants from over 1 acre up to 20 acres is how it works right now.
No, on the proposed ordinance.
The proposed ordinance, that's right.
But everything else.
But still, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Farming. Yeah, it's all like the whole town government needs to have some kind of a affirmative action against it, and deterrence measures that need to be made a spectacle of.
Well, people are watching. Don't worry, something's going to happen.
Okay, everything is fine. You have a good and blessed day.
Okay,
you too. Thank you.
Yes. So
Now that I've I could rant on about this all day, but I'm not going to. So you want to move on to our city council person?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a perfect segue. Right. You know, it's just bad behavior, and how bad behavior is an acceptable situation around here.
Yeah. Last week we mentioned that one of the councilmen of Clear Lake made a promise that he would not be using Facebook and social media and emails to what's the word I'm looking for, dear? To attack. Abuse.
Yeah, I mean, it's just madness. There was a Councilwoman Denise Lustelot went to Tahoe with Councilman Lewis and each of their respective significant others, and Mr. Lewis posts up this great picture of all them sitting at the table in Tahoe, and they're all having a happy time, and somebody makes a mention that he had spelled this guy's name correctly for the first time, and the guy and Joey responds by saying, "Well, I can't spell that Terry Larson, that fake Rasta bitch," basically, which is a legal word to say on the radio. But he didn't spell it out. He used his little exclamation points to fill in the blanks. And I'm like, okay, Joey, so why did you have to attack me? I mean, I basically called him out there. And right away, he starts posting stuff about Peter's past and his felony and his situation in Arizona, and more derogatory comments. And it just was so uncalled for. I wasn't even a part of the conversation. So why is it that I'm so important to them that I had to be the subject of the conversation at the dinner table that night, or else they wouldn't even have probably been thinking about me? So why is it so important to talk about people like this and make them, hate you so much? What did I do? Would I stand up for the people's rights, the people of Clear Lake? Yes, I did. Did they lose their Measure H? Yes, they did. Did we help inform the public about the truth behind Measure H? Yes, we did. Oh, I'm sorry. You lost. We won. Get over it. Don't make it a public attack. It's not necessary. It just shows your childishness. It's just really sad.
Well, it's just, unfortunately, this type of attitude, and we're not condoning it. I mean, it's just, is that what we want from our elected officials? And this is part of the problem that we have in this county, is that these officials think they're above and beyond our laws. And
I don't know what makes him think he's going to get reelected behaving that way. I don't think any sane voter in Lake County or in Clear Lake would vote this guy back into office. He's been ridiculous. And he's leaving his position as the executive director of the chamber. So, and rightly so, because I know a lot of people are boycotting the businesses that are chamber memberships because he's involved. So it's just a shame. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, it's me, Cheryl.
Hi, sweetie. How you doing?
Hey. Oh, good. Hey, the answer to your question about Jerry Lewis is because he's a little rat, and he knows you're onto him.
Well, exactly.
Now we're onto him thanks to your wonderful program, and we're paying more attention to him.
And we will remain ever vigilant.
Does he not know your influence?
Obviously, he doesn't care. I mean, I'm not saying I'm influential. I'm just saying that, we try to bring the truth out. Thank you. But we just try to bring out the truth. And people can make their own judgments based on the information we provide that nobody else provides. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes us stand out as compared to the other media sources, because we don't just show people what they want to see. They show what they want people to see, and then we show the other side. It may not be the popular side, as a perfect case in point, the sheriff, who we'll be talking about later. But
we're not supposed to pay attention. We're supposed to be docile.
Exactly.
The aerosol spraying must not be working.
Exactly.
And the fluoride.
Yeah, exactly. Too many people are waking up to that stuff. And
that's it.
Here's how I like to categorize it. I believe that this is a gang, and these people are a part of a gang. I call it and I'm going to apologize in advance for this for anyone who's offended, but I call it the Rob Brown School of Civil Disobedience, uncivil disobedience, because they have a system. If you can't argue with them educated wise and make an argument that's going to change things in a debate, then you attack them for being crazy. And if attacking them for being crazy doesn't work, then you dig out dirt about their past and throw that up all over the internet for everybody to see. This is the strategies that these kids like Joey Lewis, and he is a kid, he's just a child in my book, and these are being taught to him by these bullies that have been doing this for years here, creating an atmosphere of fear that is killing our county, and we're not going to take it. That's all.
Then, of course, they do the classic. They ask all the right questions as far as supervisors and even the planning commission. I noticed that little routine they do is they ask all the right questions, and then we put in all this effort, and then they go ahead and turn us away.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They kept us there 6 hours, and we all gave 100% at that meeting.
And there were people there that were in favor of the ordinance, but I'd say it was probably 30% of who actually turned up to speak were in favor of the ordinance.
Right, and people were nodding, and Rick Crowell looked like hell with his head down.
Well, let me interrupt here for a second. Since we're talking about the planning commission, I apologize, Charlotte.
Yes.
Is that I kept my mouth shut that whole meeting, which was very difficult, but I had a job to do there. But I was really paying attention to the body motions of all the commissioners, plus watching Coel, and then also listening to Coel. What really bothered me was that Coel was providing what I call hearsay. There was no facts behind his commentary regarding marijuana issues and home invasions and stuff.
Oh, wait, hold on. The sheriff provided 14 cases of what he considered violent home invasions related to pot over the past year. And my question to him was, how many DUIs and fatal DUIs have there been?
Well, the other thing is that he was showing pictures and images of grows throughout the county, and someone spoke up, said, I happen to know that particular one, and that is not within a city limit. That is where blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, so Coel was not telling the commissioners the truth. It was hearsay. There was no, except for that one crime statistic that the sheriff's office backed up. Everything else was just his opinion. And he didn't say...
slides of some pretty crops that are within compliance. I think we should get that together, see if anyone will volunteer providing beautiful plots within compliance.
That would be really nice. We're putting a call out for that.
If we could have pride like other farmers, if we could just hold our head up in town, instead of hiding our sticky fingers. But I think I'll let you finish, and I want to say something else.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I interrupted. Well, I just thought that Rick Coel looked like he had his head down. He was going like sticks and stones when we break my bones.
Well, every time that somebody made a made an anti-Coel statement, he just bowed his head and started flicking with his pen, and he looked like he was a scolded young boy.
Well, it would be hard for anyone, and Olga's hair got all messy as she scratched her head trying to understand where these guys are going.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing I loved about Rick was the fact he kept his hand up against the side of his face.
Yes.
And whenever anybody said anything, now you guys can see this on the video, whenever anyone said anything he didn't like to hear, he turned his head and he was like, talk to the hand.
In the corner.
He didn't want to hear that. So he did that to me and several other people all the time, all day long.
In the end, they asked questions. The two guys on the end, Gil, and I have it right here.
Oh, I wish I knew the other commissioner. He was awesome. Yeah.
Don and Gil were asking all the right questions.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just turned on us, and that's just what the supervisors do.
No, that's not true, Cheryl. Hold on a sec. Gil, his only motivation for wanting to have 3 plants outdoors is because he didn't want any indoor growing at all. He did not come around at all. He was on his own agenda to keep the indoor grows under control by allowing a couple of plants outdoors. Now, the gentleman next to him, did you say his name is Don?
I think so, Don Ducher.
Yes. He actually got it, and he understood this was bad for the people, and I give kudos to him for standing up and saying, no, this isn't right. Thank you very much, sir. You are an example of how people are supposed to handle themselves in these type of situations. He listened to the people, and he came forward with his own thing. And Olga just disappointed me. And I love Olga. Yeah.
She just really gave 100%.
I love her,
too.
but she disappointed me on the final vote. I expected her to stand with Don. I really
I
did.
left. I have this pattern. I get my jacket on and just leave when I know it's going downhill.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
The only thing she demanded was that that they add another 50 feet to the setbacks by
And
creeks.
she's also the one that brought up readdressing the dispensary
And she
issue.
suggested that they bring this dispensary ordinance back.
But about the dispensaries, the
to
day
not allow
after
the
they
6
busted
plants.
that one in Clear Lake, the day after we were talking about.
No,
it was that morning.
No, Cheryl, it was that morning. That's where the sheriff was coming from.
And he was going out and taking calls during the meeting.
Yep. Because of that.
Oh my God.
Because of that, he was orchestrating that whole undercover sting and everything else.
I just feel like we're all just puppets, and
We are.
We just need to replace
everybody.
We need a clean house. We need a clean house.
We need fresh blood who's willing to listen to the electorate.
Yep.
Because it's like now, I want to say something a little different this time around as I'm prepping for the supervisors meeting, but I just feel like I'm going to be putting my jacket on and walking away before they finish, just, to make my statement. And the same old thing, they'll just ignore us and do whatever they want.
Well, that's what I was just ranting about, is we cannot continually to accept this. We need to get everyone to start calling and emailing and bring proof of these emails to the supervisors, saying, hey, we have contacted you. Don't tell me that the most of the people have contacted our anti-MJ ordinance. That's BS. We need to have proof and bring it to the public and show them that we do care and what our opinions are.
Well, too, they're up there getting paid, and we're tired. We're harvesting, and we're working and everything, and we take time out of our day to go there, but they know that we're not. A lot of us don't get back to it and stay with it. And I just
they hope that they hope that nobody's paying attention. Yeah,
we're interested that day, and okay,
we got another call. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Want to remind everybody to please remember that the opinions expressed on this or any other KPFC program are the opinions of the speakers and do not necessarily represent the views or opinions of KPFC LCCR, its members, staff, or supporters. These are the opinions and views of us, the speakers only.
I would like to think they support my views.
Well, they don't.
On this one.
And we already know they don't, which reminds me, I need to make a apology out to one of the members who complained about me calling Mr. Coel a Nazi. Okay, the term I used was Nazi, yes, but I didn't mean in the traditional German, Jewish interpretation, because I'm sure they'd be very insulted if they heard that. But honestly, the way that he deals with these ordinances with very little care to the patients makes me take that opinion, and it is my opinion, and it is not. I'm not saying that he is a real Nazi, so I don't want anybody getting upset about that. But his tactics of just overlooking the small people are very much like that. So
well done.
Yes, thank you. Hello, you're on the air.
Well, if the pointy helmet hat fits, they ought to wear it.
Well, I still believe this is a community radio station, and this is freedom of speech as long as we're abiding by the federal standards, but I was told I was wrong. But that's just my opinion. What the hell?
And it's not the opinion of
if you look up the definition of it, it sounds like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like it. Anyway.
Well, we got perfect weather for that.
Well, the denial of people's rights, that's the thing, and that's what puts that term in my head.
Well, what I'm intending to share, I'm compelled to share, is we're a community, and that means it's a commune of we're ideological beings, and a community has a unity.
Yes.
And when you hire people for a sheriff that is from medieval Eastern Standard Time, not a real Cuban, he grew up in Miami.
Hey, wait, I'm from Miami, baby. Don't even go there.
Well, I am too. I was born there. But I'm saying he maintained as like a Caribbean spirit and like he's an ideological, safe person. But in reality, the language of calling herbs and narcotics and the vile spirit that is kindled with the rest of the board.
Well, once a narc, always a narc. I'm sorry.
Right. So, and in Florida, we would call them seaweed passing through, just like in San Francisco. And here he's gotten all the money he can get here, and he'll probably do the same thing when everybody wake up about that's a bad idea to have somebody from that ideological coast running things around here.
Well, I just wish someone would step up with law enforcement experience that we could support as a sheriff's candidate at this point, because I don't think we're going to be able to support this sheriff in the re-election, especially after the faux pas he made recently about his merchant marine experience.
Right. Let me bring up two more points.
We have another caller, too.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Rob, we're going to go.
They need to be, the bar need to be, somebody need to be reported to the bar about the merry-go-round system in the courts.
Oh, yeah. The DA's doing a terrible job, too. But there's rumors that there's investigations going on.
Onward, upward, forward together.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, Terry and hi, Terry and Pete.
How are you?
Hey, well, I got a few words.
Hi,
hey, well, I haven't heard from you for a while, man.
All right, listen, you got to use the term Nazi. Spell it N-O-T-S-E-E.
Nazi.
I love that. Thank you. All right, man.
That was awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go for it.
All right.
Learn some language.
Now, yes, you're awesome, man. That so fits
I got
perfectly.
a few other words, but this is free-stage radio. You can't use it on there.
Yeah, well, that's true. Thanks so much for touching base. It's good to hear from you.
Hey, good hearing you guys always.
All right,
Thanks.
take care. Bye. Oh, we're so glad he's doing well. So I said Nazi.
Nazi. Okay, a couple things still. Let's stay on this topic of the Planning Commission. I'm still naive in a lot of ways about this county and how things work. I didn't realize the commissioners on the planning board were appointed by individual supervisors out of their district. What kind of amazed me, I know we have, let me make this quick, is that the chairperson of this committee is ex-law enforcement. Now, with all due respect, folks, do you really expect a law officer to agree to an MJ ordinance? Well, give me a break, will you?
Yeah, that's one problem. Hold on, let's take this call. Hello, you're on the air.
Good morning. My name is Kate, and I'm a new listener to KPFC.
Hi, Kate.
Hi. I felt a little discouraged about the station this morning because I noticed that though you are inviting callers to join the discussion, you're not allowing them to complete their sentences or finish their thoughts. You interrupt them a lot.
Okay.
And I feel very disappointed about that. I do want to continue listening and supporting KPFC.
I'll try my best to keep myself under control.
Thank you. Just pause, take a deep breath, and allow the other person to finish their thought.
That's a good point. I'm guilty of that, too, many times. But, we get so enthusiastic about some of the commentary that's sometimes hard to hold back. And but you're right. We should allow everyone to finish their statements before we give our reply. So thank you for pointing that out.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
See, I can be nice.
Yes, you can. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, Terry.
Hello.
This is Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, how you doing?
Okay.
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to switch gears a little bit, if I could.
Absolutely.
Listening to your show, when I've talked to you a couple days ago, I wanted to bring up some information about cyber stalking.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it doesn't apply to Lake County.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. At this point, I'm pretty disgusted with Francisco Rivero.
Oh, my goodness.
I talked to Napa County. They're very, very serious about cyber stalking. It is a federal law. They have their own division.
Right.
That you have to be a Napa County resident.
Oh, so it's not a regional thing like Frank told me it was?
Oh, no.
Wow.
So in the midst of probably about $6,000 on my restraining order on my ex-tenants, now with their friend, third-party online cyber stalking myself and my family, under the law where it says false accusations, attempt to gather information about the victim, monitoring the targets online, encouraging others to harass the victim, and you've been a victim as well as yourself. There are federal guidelines and laws to protect this. It's a federal crime. Mm-hmm. I reported it to the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
I reported Francisco Rivero to the FBI,
mm-hmm.
and I've also notified the Attorney General's office.
What did the FBI say about the cyber stalking?
They actually sent me an email, and they took my complaint, and they said at first they're going to gather the information, contact the local law enforcement. I talked with Camilla Harris' office, and I said it's a joke here.
Mm-hmm.
Because of Don Anderson and Francisco Rivero, both of them can't grow up and learn to get along. Don Anderson's telling me the sheriff's department needs to file the complaint, and the sheriff's department says Don Anderson needs to do something.
Wow.
I thought that the Don Anderson had his own investigators, and his own investigators can then bring charges or complaints up.
I don't know if they can.
I don't know. I'm
charges.
asking.
I really don't know. Somebody needs to answer that if there's anybody out there.
If anybody knows, I talked to Don Anderson last week in the hall, and he'll talk to you. He's a busy man. I've got the data. The FBI said to print everything out. I don't understand, and right now I'm just really, I get spit nails. Lake County seems to supersede every law that's legal, all the way down from the city council to the board of supervisors, and they don't follow through with anything unless it's for their own agenda. Frank's on this rampage to bust anybody has marijuana, but when it comes down to the people that voted him in, and I, for one, and busted my rear on the recall effort and walked miles handing out pamphlets.
Mm-hmm.
And one time I need some help, and I can't get any of the deputies to come out and look at this data and look at the official federal law that says about cyber stalking, that it's third-party harassment through my restraining order. So I might as well have took $6,000 and just threw it out the window.
Right.
Because apparently Lake County does not follow through on any laws.
See? It's a freaking Wild West show around here.
No, it's
yeah.
It's very upsetting, and I never thought I'd say this, but Frank needs to go.
Right.
He can't follow through. He can't get his deputies to come out and take a report. Are they, and their reasoning is, and I don't know if I could say this on the air, which is not a comment of your show or KPFC. Their reasoning is, then don't go on the internet.
Yeah,
my
that's
God,
their answer.
This is the 21st century.
Unbelievable.
That is an asinine statement if I've ever heard one.
Whoa. What do you mean they don't go on the internet?
That's their answer, is don't go on the internet if you don't want to be cyberbullied. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't want to be cyberbullied, don't go on the internet.
That's
sorry to hear that.
So if you don't want to be robbed, don't carry money on you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have children. Now this one's on these erroneous sites that God knows where it's going to go, or my private information is going to go out. And the definitions, like I said, underneath the federal law and under my restraining order, and contacting people, it's harassment.
Right.
So I don't know what else they need, but Frank, if you're listening, shame on you, shame on your deputies, shame on your department, and you, Don Anderson, both need to grow up.
Yep.
And act like an adult, because it's an embarrassment.
Thank you, Kathy. You said it well.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
We have another call. Okay. Bye. First, I want to let people know you're listening to KPFZ 88.1 FM in Lakeport and all around the lake. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi. I was listening to the show, and I kind of tuned in late, so I've got a couple of questions and one comment. One, I was wondering if you guys actually could go over or briefly mention what exactly is the problems with this new plan for the county when it comes to growing medicinal marijuana. What have they said that has kicked up all this dust? Because I wasn't there. I didn't go to the board meeting. I'm a student, just super busy, so I haven't been able to really hear it.
Well, there's several items in there that are really.
I'll take it off the air.
Okay.
But real quick though. Secondly, I know you guys are not Rivero fans,
Well, we used to be.
Actually, we used to be.
Yeah.
Okay. I can respect and I can respect your position on this. However, I'm just curious, since we're kind of seeming to be on the bash Rivero kick. Do you guys actually have somebody in mind you would rather have in right now?
No. That's why I've always said he's the lesser of the three evils.
Right, because I'll tell you, if anybody's thinking Brian Martin, you guys think Rivero's bad. Holy
I know, and that's the problem. You probably didn't hear me say that comment, is that I really hope that someone out there in law enforcement steps up that is qualified for this position, because this county needs help.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And it sure would be nice to get people that actually have experience or, like, say, some sort of education
Yes.
in the field in which they're working.
Yes, exactly.
I've heard Frank talk about different, department heads at the courthouse, probation, no college under their belt, very, very little experience. They're
Right.
24, 25-year-old guys that are running departments and, have nothing more than a high school diploma. And, and that's that good old boy syndrome where you have mom and dad that have worked there for 20 years, so their kids are a shoo-in, even if you have somebody that's more qualified for the position and a better fit. And
exactly.
these are some of the issues that, we're still dealing with. My family moved up here in '82. I've had some breaks living here since then. I've lived in Sacramento for a few years and in Michigan for about 5 years. But, ever since I can remember, it's been like this, and we've been talking about all this change. And to be quite honest with you, I still don't see it. I see the lake has gotten worse. I see a lot of problems in this county, and it has not gotten any better.
Right.
I'm grateful for KPFZ. That's a step in the right direction. Really, though, I mean, and it's really cool to bring a lot of awareness to these things. It just seems like nothing ever gets done. It's like the can just kind of gets kicked down the road. But anyways, if you guys could mention what exactly that the whole plan was for the medicinal marijuana stuff, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll get off the horn with you.
Okay, thanks so much. So I'm going to make it brief, but I'm going to invite the caller to go to our website at Lake County Magazine, lakecomagazine.com, and watch the Planning Commission meeting, because everything's explained there, and the counter arguments are also there. And that's part one. Part two will be posted tomorrow. So you can see the whole Planning Commission meeting there if you have the time to watch it. But basically, my issues with the ordinance is the fact that if you own an acre or less, you can grow 0 plants outdoors. 0. Well, as a person who ingests medical marijuana for medical reasons, I don't want to grow my plants indoors because, number one, it's not going to create the kind of product that I need to use for my own personal health reasons. And also, as I've been given instructions to juice, I need to grow more than what they're offering in a 10-foot by 10-foot space. I don't want to have a problem with spider mites and that indoor growing. I can't afford to buy the lights and all the equipment that is necessary for an indoor grow. And I don't want to have to deal with the hassles of the high electric bills. Okay, so that's one issue that I have. In addition, between more than an acre to 20 acres, you can only have 6 plants, which, I could survive on 6 plants. If I could grow them properly, because I'm not a good grower, then that would be good. Now, if you have more than 20 acres, you have to have a collective grow. You may have a collective grow, but you also have to have it fenced. So this means that if you live out in the middle of nowhere, and you have your little grow out there, and you're doing maybe 40 plants or whatever it is for your collective, and you have no neighbors, nobody can see anything, you still have to fence that property. And so that's just it's just ridiculous. These things should be based on a case-by-case basis. It should also be, they're supposed to be complaint-driven, but I've seen in the past with this current emergency ordinance that isn't always the case.
Don't forget that
they're going out by plane and they're spotting and they're finding these grows, and then they're going out and code enforcing them. So, I'm sorry?
And in order to grow, don't you have to be zoned agricultural?
That's the other thing. Now they're saying that 20 acres, if you want to grow on it, has to be in Zone A. Not any other kind of ag land, just Zone A for agriculture. And it's not being treated by the Department of Agriculture as an agricultural plant, so it's just not fair to those growers. If you want to have your medicine and you want to be able to grow it, you have to go out and buy ag land, which is limited, I might say, and then you can put together something and have a little collective grow with other people. But it's just there's just too much.
Didn't Mr. Coel say there was 500 odd 20-acre or greater parcels that are zoned agricultural?
Yeah, but did he say how many of those are for sale?
Well, that's what somebody from public comment spoke up and said, well, how many of those for sale? How many can we do that? And he went,
exactly.
I don't know.
Okay, we got to go to the next caller.
Okay.
So hopefully caller 1 that took care of your questions, and you can find more information on Lake County Magazine. Thank you. Hello, can I help you?
Man, so many problems, huh?
Oh, a voice that I like to hear. How are you, sir?
Oh, I was just thinking about that smell. That you ever? I mean, like I go to the casino sometimes, or you go in town, and you smell these cigarettes these people smell, man, and make you gag.
Yes.
And sometimes, I don't mean to be offensive to the old ladies, but man, they overdo it with their perfume sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Right at the meeting, when you watch the video, you'll see a woman that was just up there complaining about the smell walk past me wearing such heavy perfume it made me choke.
Man, I know, and that's, it's like, makes you gag, but I was talking to a brother, and Clayton for sheriff. I just say.
Oh, there you go. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I better get it. But me and the partner was talking about, a lot of these problems going on here in America and all this stuff, and we was thinking, wow, but nothing really compares. None of the problems really compare to the takeover of our, of Turtle Island, and nothing really. It's just everything was just taken, and now we're sitting here, and their descendants, they got the spoils, and they're not going to give it back, or, so when we tell the truth and we try to get the truth out, people don't want to listen because, we're trying to pick on them or something, or we're crying like crybabies or something, and so it's like we can't get we're going to do it anyway, we're going to get our truth out anyway, but, and it's, come on, man, people wake up. We got a dirty lake out there. We got to clean this lake for our grandchildren and make sure that this lake makes clean fruit so our grandchildren will have clean fruit. And that's all that matters. My goodness. Okay, there's my rant.
Hey, I like that one.
You're the best. Thank you so much for that.
All right.
All right, peace. Yes, we all have our rants, and they're all about the same things. The lake, the fear, the issues with our all aspects of our law enforcement. Hello, you're on the air.
Right on, Clayton.
Yeah. He's best.
Hey, well, I feel like the call you got before Clayton, I think it was Brent, that to me is a really diversionary thing, and I don't think that he means it that way, but to me it's really diversionary, because if you sit back and realize really what's going on, I mean, this is about cultural cleansing, man. I mean, it's a war. You said it at the beginning. They're trying to get rid of...
we're declaring war.
They're trying to get rid of a whole bunch of people in this county, and they got their reasons, whatever, but that's what's going on here. So when we stop and say, and argue about whether their tactics are too drastic or not, at the time, I think is really diversionary, man. And I know, Pete, you haven't been here that long, and I haven't really been here that long compared to a lot of people. So, but I realized right off the bat when I first got here that the local government was exactly what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. They have no interest in. The only reason they allow for public comment and things like this is because that's what the law tells them they have to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there is absolutely no weight in the public comment unless it's coming from people they
support,
right.
or the support.
When I interviewed all the supervisors except Mr. Brown, who once again refused to talk to us, one of the questions I asked was, what do you think can be done to improve communications between the supervisors and the general public? And I offered a couple of ideas. One of them was, why doesn't each supervisor have their own web page, be it county or individual, with a blog or an email capability where your comments on any of the subjects at hand, be it agendized or not, and you can voice your opinion from the public to go directly to you as a supervisor of my district. And they all said, oh, no, that's what the county supervisor meetings are for, so the people can comment then. They didn't want additional communications.
That's what I'm telling you. I mean, and so to keep barking up that tree or anything that sounds sensible, like, what government you think it should be and all that, is not going to work here. It's just not, and it hasn't. Just go ask the Indians, okay? I mean, go ask anybody that's been here long enough, and that's not what goes on here. So, and now they're in their phase, their war against cannabis and the cannabis people, and it's a cultural cleansing thing, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I mean, it's the same old thing. Are we just going to sit around and argue about the semantics of it? Or
well, what do you suggest?
Well, you know, my suggestions people think are unrealistic, so it's hard for me to really put them out there. But, I mean, it's real simple stuff to me. I mean, you have to literally stand up for just being a human creature, right? I mean, you have to start there. I mean, and I'm not saying anarchy. I'm saying you got to have laws to get along with the people that you're surrounded by, you live with, you depend on. We all depend on each other. It's all interconnected and interdependent. But those laws have to be consistent with the reality of, let's say, the whole reason we have science is to prove these natural laws that we all live and come from and go by. Science is supposedly there to show those laws. And if our, you know, written laws are in direct conflict with those real laws, the ones that are the reality, the day and night, gravity, then all of a sudden we've conceded to this kind of made-up reality that these people feed off of and continue to go towards no matter what you do. So from my perspective, it's about, you've got to, you know, do a couple of things. From one, whenever you talk about this thing, you just can't let it go to what the freaking ordinance says. You have to stand up and say, you know, your ordinance can say whatever, but here's the reality. And when you go in there and talk to them people, it's not about them listening. It's about getting yourself on the record for standing up for being a human being, and getting that out there. And then the more people stand up and say, I'm a human, and there's basic human rights, basic natural rights, basic natural laws, proven by science, etc. And we're not going to honor laws that don't honor that. Okay, and leave it there, and then you start affecting the jury pools, and you start, you know, you don't let them convict anybody for growing a plant. You literally, and you know, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's. And I've never been a fan of the sheriff. I'll put it to you there. And I know we disagree on this, but to me, he's just a little Arpaio in his little county here. And
you know, we know Joe Arpaio.
We know Joe personally. Thank you.
Frank Rivero is no Joe Arpaio.
I can tell you that I know Joe Arpaio as well, and they run off the same gas, man. And I'm telling you that it's not. But so, with that being said, it's not just the sheriff. The sheriff is a huge part of it. You know, he's the most powerful person in this county, and he's leading the charge. But there is this whole parade behind him that even where, imagine this, the two dogs that seemingly are both at each other's throat, Rob Brown and the sheriff, boy, they go step by step on this issue.
Yes,
they do.
Hand in hand.
That should tell you something. Okay, this is a war. It's a cultural war. They're trying to get rid of you. They're really sorry that you came here from Arizona, and they're really sorry that I came here from wherever I came from, and they're sorry that anybody that's a cannabis grower or user is here, and they want them out. And it should be clear to everyone by now. And the only way to fight that is to stand up for being a human, not to try and argue about the semantics and the little fine print of their ordinances that really should be seen as illegitimate because they fly in the face of your natural freaking right.
Well, let me take your idea one step further, and let's not go into the fact of the ordinance, good, bad, or indifferent. Why can't, if we want to be treated as human beings and have our rights, why can't we organize and come up with our own individuals who we would like to see represent us in our individual districts and support them and get them elected?
We get a pack.
Well, one of the things about, like what Clayton just said about Clayton for sheriff,
yeah,
like I'd totally go for that.
Sure.
But it's written into the law that Clayton isn't eligible to run for sheriff. You have to have a certain amount of you've had to been in law enforcement. You've had to been in had some, I can't remember what the exact qualifications are, but not just anybody can run for sheriff. And so it filters out anybody who has, like, let's say a non-law enforcement mind or a more, human-trained mind than that direction. I mean, I have relatives in law enforcement. I know how they train, and it's a scary thing, actually. And I watched my relatives change, and so that's the only kind of people that are even qualified to run for sheriff. And so good luck finding someone that you really can trust or whatever. But anyways, the point here is this is a war, and it's a war on human rights. These are hate crimes. I mean, they hate the plant, they hate the people that use it. And we're allowing them to get away with hate, and it's traditional here. They've hated Indians, for as long as they've been here. It's that same vein. It's that same vein that does this. And, I'm wasting my time even making this call, but I'm just telling you that as long as we allow for the debate or the discussion to be where they need it to be, and that is about how many plants, about their stupid ordinance or whatever, unless it starts, when you're building a house, you got to have a foundation, man. And if you don't start with a solid foundation, that is, you simply have every right to grow a plant, whatever plants you want, for your own use, period. They got no authority, not federal, not state, and the only time they do have authority, according to the Constitution, is if it's in commerce, okay? And that's it, period. If you don't start there, you got nothing.
Right.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, and that's why I think there's a group that's being formed that's going to address this situation. There's quite a good war chest for legal fees. The county's going to pay, and they're going to have to prove that they have the right to do this in court. I don't see it being an innocent situation whatsoever, that they're going to get away with this in any easy way. Hello, you're on the air.
Well, Ron, I agree with you on most points, but, you cannot present it as a theoretical thing to an average voter. And also the voter has to awaken, there should be a regulation or an ordinance that any election where at 40% of voters do not participate will not be valid. And because, typically, as of late, people truly don't feel that they can make any difference. That's a cliche, they can make difference. It's mathematics. If there is not enough vote for one person or one idea, then it's not going to fly. So, we have to start to having town hall meetings. We can meet in a park and, in public places. I suggested same thing as the other guy here suggests, that supervisors should be available to their constituents at any time, either through on the internet or let's say they should be having a phone polls, which would they would be asking the people regarding certain particular issues.
Right.
And people will call in and they can go take a little piece of paper and count the calls for and count the calls against.
That's a good idea.
Etc. Just democracy alive. Right now, we don't have that, but it's also because people do not see or do not care. Okay, they always like this show here. We are going to end up just venting basically, unless we take some steps, even small steps. There could be a sign or rather some kind of a box in front of the courthouse where people could post their opinions.
There is a suggestion box there inside the front door of the courthouse. For each supervisor, it's a suggestion box.
I'm not talking about supervisors. This, the box is, you drop something in there, it's like putting it in a wastebasket. The point is to post it publicly. Maybe in a park, maybe on a, it would have a not glass but plastic cover, and it would be changed every 2 weeks.
Well, what I would like to see is at the weekly county board of supervisors meeting that each supervisor announces their actual office hours so they know when the public can either call or make appointments to go see them, and also to be able to provide them their telephone number and email address so they know how to be contacted. Because trying to track down some of these supervisors is very difficult.
Yeah, but that still goes through that filter. I think people in general have to communicate with each other. Because, we have a problem that, these folks or any situation like that, either you are trying to rule or you are trying to serve. And basically they have no reason to serve because they rule.
Well, that's my point of trying to get us organized and get people who we feel will make a good representative of the people and start getting their campaigns organized so they can run and be elected. And that's what we need. That's what needs to be done.
Long ways from now. We have to first meet each other, and people have to know they're going to be, let's say you post, it's going to take a while to mature. It's not to a point, we'll be, again, talking about a new supervisor in another year who will also fail, because we also have to understand what the limitations are and allow for that.
I completely understand that.
Right. We have another call. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, Terry and Pete.
Oh. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
How you doing? Oh, did I just cut you off? Oh, hell.
Shame on you. Call back, please.
I thought I had it figured. Hold on, let me see. Is anybody there? Damn, I cut him off. Call back.
That wasn't very polite.
He's here. I get dyslexic sometimes. Sorry about that.
Well, hey, I made it on today.
Oh, it's you. Okay. Well, hopefully our other caller call back. Yeah.
Kind of
honey, waited
mulling over the fact how much the Planning Commission really mirrors the Board of Supervisors.
Oh, was that evident?
The fact that there's like one female, and she seems to be the only one really reaching out and trying to go forward. And then I can't remember the...
And from the same district, too, actually.
And then, yeah, interestingly enough. And then, just like Anthony Farrington, two of the other guys, they start asking the right questions, and you think, hey, they're getting it. Here we go. And it felt just like the supervisors' meeting.
Right.
They just went right on with same plan as always. What, do you guys have something to say? Oh, well, we're still going this way.
Right.
And, it's following this track, and we'll just have to put it again. It's the type of medicine.
Yes. Well, that's what they don't want to recognize.
Yeah, and the fact that it is a valid medicine, and they won't realize that. And I turn around and face a number of the crowd there because I know they're taking pills.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that money doesn't stay here.
And we're going to get in a little bit more about DUIs and things like that in a minute. All right, thank you. We got another call.
You bet.
Peace. Bye. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, Alan, set me up.
I know. I'm sorry.
He always does that.
No, it was me. It wasn't him.
Stronger phone signal or something.
There you go. Sorry about that.
Hey, it's really funny because it just seems like a lot of people have a distorted view about themselves. And the reason I say that is because when I lived in Southern California, I had this neighbor, and he was nothing but a problem. He was a pain in the butt. I mean, he tried to poison my dog. He put sugar in the gas tank in my car.
Oh, my goodness.
And on and on. Yet this guy went to church every Sunday. And he thought he was he just, like I say, had this distorted view of himself that he thought he was in the right. So all I want to say is, sometimes you have to look out for people because, they get on this egotistical trip of their own making or something like that, and then, it's just kind of the world. I really see as the people have really lost touch with the inner sides of themselves, the inner side of themselves, and that's something that we should be thinking about trying to get back in touch with or something like that, because it's getting pretty crazy. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for today.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right, peace. All righty, yes. We have wonderful people out there, as usual, with great points on all aspects of our lovely county survival here. So let's talk a little about the DUI situation. We had the rumor is, and I'm going to say rumor even though pretty much everybody knows it's true, that one of our supervisor's sons was involved in a DUI accident the other night. He's in pretty critical condition from what I understand, major injuries down at University of California, Davis.
Right.
And they don't want to say who he is because he's a minor, so we're not going to state that. But he's being charged with DUI. It was a single car accident. He rolled over and he almost killed himself.
Under the age of 18.
Yes. And with the attitude of the majority of the supervisors and the majority of the planning commission that wine is such a huge industry here, and the point of view that drinking is okay, it just frustrates the heck out of me, because they want to vilify people who are involved in medical marijuana and trying to make a living and trying to provide their medicine to people and trying to do good things, and yet they're going to turn around and say that drinking is fine, go out and enjoy the wine country, have fun driving around, doing wine tastings. I'm not saying that's what this young man was doing. He most likely was just drinking beer with his buddies or something like that. But there's a culture here of alcohol, and it's a culture that's deadly. Now, I hope by next week to have some statistical data for you regarding DUI accidents in Lake County and how many people have died this year on the roads. I know we've had some horrific accidents, and I need to really look at what the numbers are. When the sheriff said there was 14 violent crime invasions, I want to know how many DUI accidents and how many DUI deaths there have been in that same time frame. So we're looking into that. Now, there was a there was a posting by the county that just came in. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. Please post. And this was regarding DUI fees, and they have recently enacted this new ordinance establishing a fee schedule for driving on the influence program. So now, if the current fees are about $260 per person for the 12-hour wet reckless program, and I guess that they're raising the fees another $80. So that's on the 9-month first offender program. And
how much is the first offender?
So it goes from $1,150 to $12,030, basically. I mean, $1,230 per person. So that's a 9-month first offender. So this young man is going to look at, depending on whether he gets a first offender 3-month, 9-month, or 6-month, or 12-month, or 18-month charge. And I would think in an accident they'd give him a pretty significant one. But then again, knowing our district attorney, there may not even be any charges filed against the young man. So we just don't know how this is going to pan out, because we have a DA who doesn't like to prosecute people. So maybe nothing will happen. Maybe he'll be prosecuted as a juvenile, although he was 17, which in most cases he'd be prosecuted as an adult. But maybe he'll be prosecuted as a juvenile, therefore he'll have no record, and if he keeps his nose clean, he'll get out of it scot-free. So, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out. It's very sad to see that alcohol is put up on such a pedestal, and yet a medicine which has been proven to be a nonviolent type of, please help me, I'm having a brain fart. A nonviolent, something you consume that's nonviolent, whereas alcohol causes violence. What am I trying to say here?
I'm sorry, babe.
You're not listening.
I am listening, but
no,
I don't
you weren't
understand.
listening. You were online, so that's okay. I saw you. Gotcha. And it's
listening.
on camera. You're looking at me like, what? Anyway, you get my point. When the medicine that we ingest for medical marijuana purposes is a much peacefuler, gentler type of medicine. UC Davis did a study. They say people can drive better when they're on the weed as opposed to alcohol drivers. And I shouldn't say weed, I should say cannabis, to give it its proper name, not insult anybody. But, it's just really, really sad that this is where our society is, where alcohol is put up on a pedestal, and medicine that can cure and help people is turned into an evil.
Well, I think what you're saying is the side effects of alcohol are a lot worse and actually can be extremely dangerous to other individuals.
Exactly.
While cannabis,
and more
there is
violence, domestic violence.
Well, there's no. We don't know of any actual situations where cannabis is caused something like that.
Well, we do, but not as many. I mean, it's certainly a lot less. There are some people who are actually allergic to it that do have violent reactions to it, but it's very rare. Oh. Hello, you're on the air?
Yes. If I could make a personal observation, is that we all live in the land of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Well, not everybody's joined Alcoholics Anonymous, though. If they had, it would be good. You're off? Okay, yeah, he hung up. So
interesting.
Let's see, there's another caller. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I don't know if it's Alcoholics Anonymous, except if you want to interpret it that people are anonymously drinking alcohol. I guess you could say that was true. Hello, you're on the air.
Well, I just want to point out that we do have 80% of world's lawyers, believe it or not, and we only have 5% of world's population. We have most prisoners more prisoners than any other country in the world.
Yeah, mostly incarcerated on drug charges.
And total.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to leave things upon people's choice. If they are drinking and driving and they kill themselves, that's nothing what I'm concerned with. Mm-hmm. I mean, if there's nobody else involved, we cannot wage war against one another because of different chemical choices. Basically, that's, we have to step away from all that and allow people do their own thing and have the rights and the consequences.
Well, I don't want one of those drunken people driving into me at 10 o'clock at night.
He didn't, I understand.
No, but he could very well. I watched a woman die on Highway 29 the other day.
But that's a different issue. That's a different case.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
You cannot simply pile up something what happened in New Jersey on Lake County situation.
Well, I'm talking about something that happened right on Highway 29.
I'm just
she was on pills.
Talking, we watch TV and we create an opinion based on it, but we just have to keep ourselves together and allow people do certain things, and that's how it's going to be.
Right.
I mean, people have the same complaints about marijuana. Okay, that it will go on and on and on. The point is to let people be. Right. And they can grow out of that. Nothing else will allow us to mature and understand. And if we are, and that's in economics or it's in politics or whatever.
Well, I think awareness raising is really important. But thank you for your call. We got to take another.
But individual people allowing it, awareness cannot be sold in safe way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, well, another problem I have with the wine industry is that basically they just take everything and run. There's no commitment to staying here and build a winery or, any large kind of capacity buildings or any, basically they just take.
Yeah, there's no job creation.
No, and the job creation that is basically is a group of people that send their money to another country. Now, bless their heart, and who'd really want to do that job? But imagine this whole county was a giant, wine garden, and there basically wouldn't be any place for any wildlife to live at all. I mean, if you look underneath the canopy of your basic vineyard, there's nothing living there. It's a desert, and they intend to keep it that way with. Mm-hmm. Whatever nasty Roundup or whatever they can come up with it, and so underneath a large vineyard is just a sterile ground, dirt that doesn't even have weeds in it.
Right.
So I'm kind of sick of hearing that the wine industry is anything but a giant drag on the county.
Well, remember that the wine industry is only the 4th largest employer in the county.
Yes.
So that, to me, doesn't state a lot of benefit to the county at that point.
Right, and instead of building the actual winery and a destination like they have in Napa, these Napa big vineyards just come up and buy better ground right up here in Lake County and grow the grapes and take it all down to their little showcase. And maybe we should be grateful that those people just drive drunk around in Napa, and don't come up here so much.
Right, that's a good point.
All
right, super.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, you're on the air.
Here's another crime statistic for comparison. How many domestic disputes are over alcohol and meth, and how many domestic disputes get hauled in over marijuana?
Well, that's what I was saying. Domestic violence is a major issue with DUIs and with just people who are under the influence of alcohol and pills. Absolutely.
How often do you hear somebody beat up their old lady because they were strung out on an eighth of upper leg bud?
Yep.
It just doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Really, the only violence that I see associated with marijuana is the way the cops eradicate it.
Right.
Especially when they come in with camp and comment and all that. And also, because it's an illegal and it's high priced, and we can't call like we can for our TVs or our VCRs, it's the violence associated with ripping crops off.
Well, that's the thing, that's if it wasn't illegal, it would not be in demand for people to steal from.
Exactly.
So that's the problem. Okay.
Take the peaceful way.
Yes, exactly. All righty. So we are going to take a quick break since we've got a break in the callers here. And we'll be right back. This is Lake County Magazine with Terry and Pete. And we'll see you in a few minutes after the song from the Milagros Saints. This is called I Ain't Got No Home. This goes out to those on Thanksgiving who are going to be alone or homeless. Come down to Clear Lake. We got food and good times for you, babe.
look around, it's mighty plain to see. This wide open world is a funny old place to be. Oh, the gambling man is rich and the working man is poor. Now I ain't got no home in this world anymore.
ain't got no home, baby, and if you ain't got no home, or if you ain't got no family or friends that you want to spend the holidays with, go on down to Clear Lake for their big Thanksgiving community dinner.
I leave for 5 seconds, and this is the music I get?
Hey, it's a Woody Guthrie song, and that was,
that was Woody Guthrie?
Milagro Saints.
Okay, I take that
that
back.
We're playing that.
I thought you were premature in putting on the program after us.
No, dear, it's not a folk scene song.
Sorry.
It's a good classic song, and it just seemed to fit the mood.
Didn't sound like Hendrix or Cream or Zeppelin or Martin.
No home.
Anywho.
Yes, I've been there, done that. We got a caller already.
Okay.
So let's go quickly over to...
Because they don't want to listen to us anymore.
Or that music. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, Pete and Terry. This is Phil.
Hey, I
Phil.
was just about to mention you.
How you doing, babe?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Oh, I hope I was going to be mentioned in some sort of positive context.
Absolutely. Always with you, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thanks. Anyway, the reason I'm calling is I wanted to let you know that if you're looking for stats on DUIs here in Lake County, the people to go to are the CHP because they're the ones in charge of that data. And I've been kind of keeping an eye on that over the years, and it seems like the range is usually somewhere around a half dozen deaths and probably about double that in injuries that are, DUI related. But really probably the big damage that alcohol does here, public health-wise, is not really being tracked or people just aren't aware of it because, people just die slowly of alcoholism at home or in a hospital like my dad did.
My dad, too, at 46.
Yeah, and, so it's you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg of the damage that alcohol does.
Right. Oh, I understand. And we have been in touch with CHP. We've been having problems getting a hold of their public information officer, but for the last 3 days, well, since the meeting, we've been trying to get a hold of them to get those statistics, which I hope I'll have by next week. But I think this year actually had an increase in fatal or major crashes due to
it seems
alcohol.
like we've been having a little run of them here lately.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is off subject, but it was part of what I was about to talk about. When the county or like the city of Lakeport or Clear Lake put a ordinance together to increase the sales tax and it gets passed, does that sales tax also affect our gasoline tax? Is it added on to top of our gasoline prices?
Wow, that's a good question. I believe it would be.
I thought so, but I wasn't sure. So I know how.
Nice if somebody could let us know for sure.
Yeah, I thought you might know that answer based on your wisdom, but I'll find out myself. I'll call the Board of Equalization tomorrow and find out.
Yeah, you'd have to look at the breakdown on that. Yeah. Anyway, something else that I wanted to address was that you were talking about the Planning Commission meeting the other day, and one of your other callers suggested that you just need to ignore the process and kind of create your own reality, and I understand the frustration that drives people in that direction. Believe me, I've experienced more brick walls in local government than probably 99% of the people out there over the years. But I think that people should remember that one very positive thing came out of that meeting, and that was the recommendation by the Planning Commission to the Board of Supervisors to readdress the dispensary issue countywide. And basically, I think the consensus was that the closure of the dispensaries backfired on them, and it created a lot of the problems that they're dealing with today as far as cultivation goes. And it was, to me, very, I guess you'd say, uplifting,
encouraging
to hear Rick Coel admit that, and to have the sheriff admit that, and the Planning Commission seemed to be, pretty...
I guess we lost our caller. Hang on.
Pretty across the board on that, too. So, sometimes the system does work. And I guess my bigger point was, would that issue, have come up if someone from the public didn't bring it up.
Of course not. Well, they were looking for some kind of way to satisfy the people that are on an acre or less to have access. But to me, that's not an option because, number one, I can't afford it. And number two, I don't know where that's coming from. There's no way that I don't know if it's indoor or outdoor for sure, or if there were chemicals sprayed on it. I don't want to buy from a dispensary.
Right, yeah, and I understand your reasoning, and I agree with it, too. I don't want to see any indoor growth. I want to see everything done possible to deter those. Right. And again, if you look at just the decision itself, it's pretty discouraging. But if you look at how it came to pass, you got one person that was against it and wanted people to have more opportunities to grow outdoors, and was adamant about it. You had another one that was, kind of on board with that. So that means you were one vote away from coming up with a different outcome, as far as, people like yourself, small acreage, want to grow outdoors for themselves.
Right.
That's where, to me, that doesn't look like a cause for desperation. When you're one vote away from getting something sensible done.
Well, it is if it doesn't get passed.
Well, yeah, I know. I understand the frustration, but, for people to say the system is completely broken, it's dysfunctional, we can't trust it, it doesn't represent us at all, to them I say, you know what, if we had put together a better focused effort to educate people and to lobby them, we were one vote away from getting something pretty close to what we wanted. And to me, that doesn't seem like some insurmountable hurdle. Mm-hmm. So I think the negativity towards the overall system and outlook is maybe not entirely justified.
Well, let me. I'm not going to say I agree or disagree at this point with you on that one, but after the meeting was over and I was talking to one of the commissioners, I said, it really doesn't matter how you voted 4-1 or 3-2 because the Board of Supervisors are going to vote 4-1 on anything they want anyway.
Most of the time.
So, the going through the Planning Commission was something that was required, but I don't think it had a hell of a lot of bearing on what the Board of Supervisors are going to do.
Impact.
Yeah.
Unless we voice our opinion, really inundate them with all of our voices.
Exactly.
You're right in that the Board of Supervisors is generally more politicized than and polarized than the Planning Commission.
Well, the Planning Commission can only make recommendations too. They don't make laws, so that has to go to the board to do that. So,
but on the other hand, you think about this. When you've got your own staff, your community development director on board with something, then it does make it harder to ignore his advice.
Yeah, but if he's got flawed advice, which we hope to prove that whole zero plants thing is going to be a nightmare for them legally, then the board has to listen.
Well, okay, yeah, I wasn't thinking of that specifically. I'm thinking of the dispensary thing, where he felt that, that is, a component in this that needs to be addressed to get the compliance that they're expecting.
Right.
But anyway, can I shift gears here a little bit?
Yeah, and we do have another caller, so try to make it brief if you could.
Okay, the sales tax measure for the lake.
Yes.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about that next week in detail, and we're hoping to get Mr. DeLeon to come and step in.
Okay, well, maybe I'll just wait until then. All right.
Oh, and Cheryl says she loves you.
Okay. Right back at her.
All right.
Hey, you shouldn't have given it to me on the air. She's all embarrassed now. Okay, darling, take care.
You too.
Right.
Okay, bye. Hello, you're on the air.
It's me, El Kabimini Bob, another second.
Hi.
We should settle these things on a case-by-case basis instead of far-reaching outside and instead of repressing everybody's communal and societal ethical majority's will.
I agree. I mean, they can't just put a blanket ordinance over there and expect people to be able to survive.
And Ron recommended, and the sheriff said, he's going to have a civil community oversight board, and so there could be more import through that, and yet all we see is language like the last referendum bill that they tried to run that gave all the favor to the large 20-acre groves, and he aligned them with them people up there at that time, and what a coincidence that language is there now.
Well, what I really didn't like was the fact that when he was questioned as to why he didn't bring the stakeholders into the meeting and into the building of this ordinance, his only excuse was, I didn't have a phone number. And that is bunch of baloney, because I know Dan Rush was talking to him. I know that the Green Farmers had been involved. Even though the group had somewhat disbanded, he still had contact information for them. And I know that he's full of baloney when he said those things. That was ridiculous. It just showed he didn't want to have anybody else's input. The only input he had was from law enforcement and from other counties and cities that have done the same thing.
And the money from DEA involvement for the county, they decided, no, we won't take that and put that on the people to suffer that noise. And yet he let it be for within the county, for town folks.
Right. And they're building a new jail to take care of everybody who breaks the ordinance. How nice.
That's the description. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, I was trying to make it real quick because I didn't hear all of Phil's statement, but the notion, what I did hear, I didn't really agree with, and the notion that if he was talking about me saying to ignore the system, he's got me all wrong, and I'm saying, and especially in the notion of making up your own reality, it's the opposite. We need to force them to face the reality that is, and not allow them to make up their own reality, because that's what's going on here. And also on the issue of the legal problems they might have, I wouldn't get so sure that they're, listen, as long as they provide some type of access, and I've learned this from challenging their last ordinance, and when they say you can grow indoors in a 10 by 10, right? That's their legal off.
Nope, that's not good enough.
And no, I'm telling you right now that that's going to be their legal off, because nobody has been coming at this from any of the perspectives of juicing and things like that, like we tried, but they ignored because kind of nobody else is, right? And nobody also is really coming at this from challenging it from the basic rights. And until you get there, you're just going to be chasing tail.
Well, I got news for you. We got attorneys, we got a war chest, and basic rights are going to be the first place we go.
I hope you're right, girl.
Yep.
All right.
We'll keep you posted. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, that does it for today. Thanks for all the callers. Another great day of intelligent conversation. We really appreciate all your input. And we will have part 2 of that Planning Commission meeting up on the website in sometime by tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And we're going to talk about the lakes tax measure, our ordinance coming up next week. I've been reviewing the ordinance itself. Mr. Murphy has given me some great comments, so I think between the two of us, we're going to raise some herring questions.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to maybe invite Phil to come in, and maybe if we can get Mr. De Leon to come in and discuss it, that would be awesome. Okay, also a special weather statement. Rain is expected through Thursday, and we ask you all to please be careful on those wet roads and try to stay warm and dry, and hopefully it'll be gone by Saturday. So we're looking forward to more of this wonderful rain. It's a blessing.
Yes.
Although our friends with the wedding will be holding it indoors. But we're so grateful that at least we've got rain. Thanks, folks. You're on Lake County Magazine with Terry.
And Pete the Tax Guy.
And we will be back next week. Have a great one.
Calling all stars, calling all stars. This is an emergency.
It's Aini Kamosi for you.
R&B, B, proceed with caution. Suspects are musically armed and dangerous.
listening to KPFZ 88.1 FM in Lakeport and all around the lake. Streaming on the web at www.kpfz.org.
Life's heart is about to break. All the